Hello everyone, I want to do a couple of pages in my Daphne's Diary magazine journal today. I know that many of you are eagerly awaiting for me to put some pages together. I apologise for taking so long to get off the mark with this. We are in the process of having our house decorated top to bottom, so I'm sure you can imagine the mess that we are in at the moment. Things are going well and it's starting to take shape, but I do want to get started with a few pages today. Now, I want to start off with this piece here. This was cut from the poster that was included in the issue number 2, which is the Easter 2022 magazine. It was part of this page here, so colour-wise, it goes really well. I'm thinking that I can maybe either have the teacup or the teapot on this page here. I do have the lid to the teapot, which I cut off whilst I was putting my background pages together. Oops, that's upside down. So, if I want to, I can glue that back on. But let me just put my thinking cap on. I need something to break up the background. As pretty as it is, it needs a break. And so I've decided that I'm going to use this page here, this text page. So I'm going to cut this out. The easiest way to do it is just to use a craft knife so that you don't, tear where you don't want to. So I'm just going to cut this out here. Be careful you don't tear your desk underneath. So here we go, we can just cut this out, and I'm going to use this page here as a background. My friend Maggie a while ago asked me to share ideas as to how to use the text pages, and they just make wonderful backgrounds. So I'm just going to trim around the edges. As you can see, that's really pretty on that background, and I've glued the teapot lid on. The way I've done that is I've just glued it on with some masking tape. I'm actually going to cut these in half so that I've still got the teacup. I've got another idea for that. But if I bring my background over, let me just take this out of the journal. Let's show you what I mean. It just gets a bit lost. So what I've decided to do is colour the background here in some frayed burlap. Grab myself a piece of parchment paper to grab the mess. So frayed burlap, distress ink. I'm going to use one of these makeup sponges, and I'm just going to add some ink to the edge, which will hopefully frame it. I don't need to go over all of it, just the edges. So much better. That stands out so much more on the page. I'm really happy with that. Now, what I do want to do is just ink around the edges so that we've got a slightly darker background. So I'm just going to ink all the way around the edges. Around the edges of both pieces, including this one here. I've also chopped off the other side because I'd like to use that in another piece. And so I'm just going to glue these down, something like that, so that I've got room for a quote at the top. Doesn't that look pretty? Now, of course, we need some kind of quote to go across the top. And I found the perfect one, slow down. And I'm hoping that I might be able to use this teapot as well. So I'm just going to fussy cut these out. Fussy cut my quote, slow down, and my teacup. And I'm just going to glue these down something like this. And I think that will finish off my page really nicely. I also want to do something with the other image that was the other half to this on the opposite side of the page. So that's going to go down there. Now I've pulled out one of the papers from the paper box, and I think I'm going to use this as a background. It's nice and subtle. It's not taking away from anything. So I'm just going to use a pencil just to mark where I want to trim, and take this off to the paper trimmer. That's such a pretty combination. So I'm just going to glue this down in the centre, and I'm going to take this off to the sewing machine and just stitch around the edges just to add some detail. So let's pop that down. And as I've said, I'm just going to stitch around the edges. Let me just make sure I've got that straight. I just love the stitching on this one here. I've added a row around the outside and the middle as well. So that's what that's going to look like on my page. Now I've got another idea as well. I'd love to have a bird sitting on the edge of the teacup. I think I'm going to cut out this one here. Half of his tail is missing, but we can draw that in later. So I'm just going to fussy cut this this one out. Here's my cute little bird. Just how adorable is he? So he's just going to perch on the edge of the teacup, something like this. I do want to just ink around the edges again, just to frame him. His tail is actually fine, but just look what a difference inking makes. It just makes him stand out a whole lot better. Just added a little bit of glue stick to the back here, so he's going to perch on the edge of the teacup, and that's that page done. Isn't that just lovely? I love how that looks. I'm just going to glue him down here like this at the top because I found the perfect quote. Well, I think it is anyway, maybe a bit lower down. Let's just wipe the glue off at the top, and I found one of the Tim Holtz small talk phrases: a party without cake. Let's see, that might need to go up just a tad to make room for it. Here we go. A party without cake is just a meeting, and that finishes that page off beautifully. How cute is that? I also found another quote in the Tim Holtz Small Talk book: great things take time. So we've now got slow down, great things take time, and that's that double page spread. Of course, they won't be together once I pop them in the journal, but how pretty. Just absolutely love those. So we've now got our first 2 pages complete, and I always find that the first page or first couple of pages are always the hardest, and once you've done those, it just gets you off to a great start. So that's the first page, and that's the second one. Really happy with that page. Next up, I'd like to use this image here, and I'm thinking that it could go on this page here. Colour wise, it goes really well with the beautiful image that we've got on the right hand side of the page, so I just need to find a way of getting this to fit, and also finding something I can use to cover up the sides. I've cut my page down and I can trim the excess off once I've finished. And I've decided I'm going to use some washi tape to fill in the gaps on the left and right hand side. I've got this beautiful washi tape which came from the washi tape shop. It matches absolutely beautifully with both of the images, so this is what I'm going to use. I'll leave the link to this washi tape together with the discount code in the description box below. What I'll do to start off with is take my page out of the journal. Again, the beauty of having elastic means that you can take your pages out to work on them, and of course swap them around if you want to as well. So I am just going to apply a little bit of this to the left and right hand side just to frame my page. I decided to take the washi tape all the way around, and I really like how that looks. I did it for my Easter Bunny pages and really liked it. I do wonder whether that's a bit too much though, so I am thinking that I could use some more of this paper here. This was the one that I used for the teacup, and perhaps frame it somehow. So I'm going to glue this down and then trim around the edges, and perhaps add some more stitching as well. The stitching adds so much to this piece. It just adds a nice touch of detail, and I just absolutely love using washi tapes as backgrounds, so I'm just going to glue this on. I think that that is such a pretty spread, and it may well be that I decide to add some words at a later date, but I'm just going to leave it there for the time being. Let's move on to this page here. Now, as beautiful as this is, it's not really a finished page, so I have spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I want to do with this. I found this gorgeous spring image here, which I've just cut out of the magazine. I also fussy cut some of these flowers as well, because I thought we could cover up this little panel here, so I'm just going to glue that down something like that. I've also got this little tag that I've cut out of the magazine, so I'm thinking we can cover the rest of it up like that. Now, I did have a label. What have I put? Oh, here we go. This is just a label that I received in the Your Creative Studio boxes, and that will cover up the text. So I'm going to start off by gluing that down, and then I'll find a focal point to go on this here. That looks so pretty. I really like it, and I think I found the perfect focal image. I thought I might be able to cut out this birdhouse, which would go really well with the bird. This came from one of the older Daphne's diaries, and this came from number 2, 2019. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out. That is such a sweet page, and just to finish it off, I've got a quote, "Live simply." And so I'm just going to glue that on there like that. I want to do something with these beautiful Romanian eggs. I've cut out this trim from the page as well. So let's have a look and see what we can do with this. Now, I've decided I want to have it on the opposite page to this one here. I'm going to take the page out of the journal to work on. Now, what I'm thinking is that I can have this off to the left-hand side, then have this beautiful border, which is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure whether I want it that way round or that way round. We'll decide. I want my eggs, but I need something to cover up the right-hand side. I've taken this paper pack out of the paper box, and I want to use this piece here to fill in the gap on the right-hand side. Colour-wise, it goes absolutely beautifully. I'm not sure which part of the paper I want to use to start off with, but it's going to pull in all of the colours that are on here. So I'm just going to trim a piece of this down. What I'm going to do is cover the whole of this with a piece of this paper and use that as a complete background. That's a beautiful background. So let's try and make this into a cohesive page. I think I'm going to glue that down there like that. So I'll start off doing that first. That's what that looks like so far, and you can see I've rounded the corners just on the right hand side, so that's going to go on there like that. And finally, my focal image. I've also got this beautiful image of a Romanian martysaur. A Romanian martysaur is a gift that was given to women during the martysaur celebration. So I just want to put this explanation on the back and think of a way of adding this to the page as well. I'd like to have this as a bit of a flap on the right hand side. I think that will go really well. I've also found another piece of this gorgeous trim, so I've cut a small piece off, and what I'm going to do is glue this onto the very edge with an overlap, just so that I can wrap it round to the other side. I'm just going to use some of my art glitter glue for this, just so that I can put a very, very small amount right on the very edge, and that will be strong enough to hold that in place. Let's carefully stick this on. In fact, what I'll do, this is going to be fiddly. I'm going to do it like this, just so that I can see how much of that edge I'm gluing on, because I want enough to wrap it over onto the other side. That should do it. And I can just add a tiny amount of glue onto this edge here and wrap it around onto the other side. I'm only using a small amount because I don't want it spurting out all over the place. There we are. And then let's pop this onto the other side. Just like that. Great, that's perfect. I'm really happy with that page. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? Let's just do something with this page here. I'm just going to take this sheet out of the journal, and this is the page that I'm going to use for that. And what I'm going to do is glue this onto this sheet. It's going to need cutting down, but that's okay. So I am just, in fact, the easiest way to do it, I think, is to add glue onto this side. And just try and find the centre, and that should be about right, and then I can trim it down afterwards. It's easier to judge where I want this page to go. I've just cut the sides off. What I'm going to do now is just make a mark and transfer that over to the other side, just so that I know where to glue my piece. So there we go, we've got the marks there and there, and so I can just glue that on. So I'm just going to take this off to the paper trimmer and just try and trim this down now. But I think that's really pretty. So that now fits absolutely perfectly. Now I might move this one. I just wonder whether that's too busy with that page there and whether I'd be better off maybe with the yellow page. So I'm going to stick it here for the time being so that it's less in your face and less busy. And then, you know, hopefully I might find something else to inspire me as I go along. Isn't it funny? You move things around sometimes and opportunities present themselves. I really like the orange on this page opposite, and I've come up with another idea. Inside the magazine there were a couple of these door hangers, and I've decided that I want to use this one here. It came with this pink centre. I'm not going to use that. I've also found this though, and this was in the Daphne's Diary paper box, and I would like to use this on the background. What I'm going to do is just use my large circle punch just to cut a piece out. Let's have a look. About there, like that, and then hopefully I'll be able to just glue that onto the background. There we go, that fits nicely. So I'm just going to stick that on. Colour-wise, it just matches absolutely beautifully. The easiest way to do that is just to apply glue just around the rim here rather than apply it to the circle itself. In fact, if I move that out of the way, you'll be able to see better what I'm doing. So just a small bead of glue just around the edge, and then let me just make sure I get this in the right place. I'm really fussy about things like that, being symmetrical and so on and so forth. That's about right. And then I need to find a focal image just to go on this background here. So let me see what else I can find. I've just found this one, which I think is absolutely perfect. This is from the Tim Holtz Botanicals, I do believe. Yeah. So botanicals, and I think that one's going to do just the job. I've decided I'm going to stitch this on, so I'll apply a small amount of glue just to hold it in place. I've already just manipulated my butterfly, and so a tiny amount of glue there just to hold it in place, and I'm just going to whiz this through the sewing machine. Let's have that so that the circle is in the middle, I think, otherwise that's going to bother me. Isn't that pretty? Butterflies sewn on, and that's got some nice dimension thanks to the sewing. The washi tape here is just so that I don't go out of camera shot, by the way. I want to cover up the quote, "You're welcome," isn't really appropriate. I've cut another piece of the polka dot card just to keep everything tied together, and then I've pulled out some of the Tim Holtz chit chat words. Remember to smile. And so I'm going to play around with these until I get them straight. That's a little bit off, but you get the general idea. And I shall glue that down there like that. I inked around the edges, and I'm just going to glue that into my book, and that's that spread done. I just think those two pages go really well together. Once I've got the butterflies out, I'm just going to add this yellow one to this page here, because that doesn't need anything else doing to it. It's just such a sweet page, but this top right hand corner just looks a bit bare, and I think that is the finishing touch. I'm just going to add a tiny amount of glue. I'm not going to add any stitching to this one, but I do just want to add glue just to the spine, just so that it will have a bit of dimension. I've got way too much glue on there. Let me just wipe a bit off, and I'm going to, oh no, we've got the antenna, so that will go there like that, and I'm just going to wipe off the excess glue before it starts spreading everywhere. I've decided to leave it here for today. I think that was a really successful and productive journaling session. Really happy with the pages that I've done. The butterfly was all this one needed. So let me take you right back to the beginning, and let's have a look and see what we've done today. So that beautiful birdhouse page, very, very pretty. I love the colours in this one here. I think the two orange ones go really well together. What else have we got? The teapot. This page here, of course, with just the addition of the butterfly. The teacup with the bird on the side. This girl, love her next to this page here. And I think that is it. Well, I'm calling it done for today. Really happy with all the pages that I've managed to complete. I think there's 7 or 8 in total, but I hope you enjoyed it and it's hopefully given you some ideas and inspiration. Now, for anybody that wants to know how I made my Daphne's Diary journal, I'll leave the link to the video showing how I made it in the description box below. But I'll be back again soon to complete some more of these pages and of course give you another flip through once I receive issue number 3. That just leaves me to say, if you've enjoyed today's video, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think of the pages in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification as well if you want to follow along with future videos in this series. But take care, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.